This panel discussion is going to be beyond digital transformation, modernizing core technology for the AI bank of the future. Our moderator is Alok Gupta. He will introduce the participants. Alok, please come up and please introduce the participants. Very excited to have you here today. A quick round of applause. We're going to have 2 participants virtually. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to everyone, and a special afternoon to my panelists. I'm Alok Gupta. I work for HSBC Bank, and I look after compliance analytics. I have been in this region for close to 15 years, with banking industry for close to 20 years. I'll request my co-panelists to start introducing themselves. Starting, Ahmed, with you.
Assalamu alaikum and good afternoon. My name is Ahmed Darwish. I'm the head of digital delivery in Bank Al Bilad in Saudi Arabia. I have over 30 years of experience in IT and digital banking, especially corporate and retail. I'm heading the digital delivery to provide and deliver the whole portfolio of Bank Al Bilad, composed of different services and products. I'm also an expert in project management and PMO consultancy. This is in brief my past experience.
Thank you, Ahmed. Shino?
For National Bank of Oman, and I have almost 21 years of experience in financial services and leading banks in the Middle East. It's my pleasure to be part of this event. Hoping to have a good day.
Thank you, Shino. Lakshmi?
Hey everyone, afternoon. Alok, nice to see you after so long time. I'm sorry I'm not there in person. I'm slightly under the weather. I am Sri Lakshmi. I'm with First Abu Dhabi Bank. I head the analytics and AI practice at FAB. And I am 18 years experienced in terms of data analytics and the AI practice myself. Personally, I am a statistician and a data scientist myself. And professionally, driving customer value and driving value to humanity through analytics and AI is my personal passion. And I have been into the domain of statistics, advanced analytics, and AI. And my compassion and my work responsibilities at FAB is predominantly to work on use cases and identify opportunities where these advanced technologies can drive customer experience and enhance the customer journeys.
Thank you, Sri. And I'm really privileged to host or chair this panel with industry leaders across Oman, Saudi, and UAE, and with their experience across digital tech analytics. Over the last 20 years, since I started my professional careers, I have seen banking industry transforming significantly, with moving focus from moving to internet banking first, mobile banking, going omni-channel, digital, from neo-banking, sure. And today we are talking about AI banks of future. Over the weekend, I was talking to a fresh MBA graduate, and the discussion came up on what's definition of AI banks of future. And I thought of, let me ask this question to my eminent panelist. So Ahmed, starting with you, based on your expertise and where you sit on in the digital area, how do you see AI bank of future look like?
This is really a very good question, deep question actually to answer. For sure, the technology growth and the new technologies and things that we have today is going to enable us to do a lot with less. I believe AI now is mature, and the services and the models that we can see today are widely giving us a lot of capabilities to build our smart bank or artificial intelligence bank. I believe a lot of things that need to be also combined with the meta world and the way of interaction that we are going to see. And as you know that conversational AI now is becoming a trend. I believe that by combining the meta world with the existing digital banking and services, we can go back to some sort of interaction or conversational banking as it was before. after we start losing the touch in the branches with the customers, and we start just availing our services through the app and applying the not only mobile first but also mobile only policy, we start losing the physical touch and the interaction with the customer. By combining the AI and the meta world, I think we will start getting back to some sort of interaction with the customers, which will make our bank more, let's say, preferred by customers. In addition to the use cases that we have discussed even this morning about AML, fraud detection, the point that was not discussed maybe this morning about the combination of, let's say, this AI in fraud cases, what we have today in payments, for example, the IPS and RTP, request to pay, is also becoming a very threatening, let's say, payment methodology or method, because customers will do the transfer and it will reach the other side within 10 to 20 seconds. So most of the fraud detection systems today are after fact. By doing and using AI, I think that we will be able to stop these kind of frauds ahead, and we can even predict such kind of cases.
Thank you, Ahmed. I think you really brought a beautiful word, Metaverse, which you all are aware since Facebook rebranded themselves. Shino, if I could ask you, from a CTO perspective, how do you see AI bank of future looking like?
Yeah, on AI, especially different industries be currently adopting AI into their landscape. For the banking sector, I feel three changes in three different areas. One is about customer. So in terms of the customer, the conversation become intelligent, personalized, and I would say it would be seamless. So these three characteristics you will be able to see in all the interactions of the customer when the AI is getting matured more and more, and already banks are already adopting it. Intelligent means you are not going to get asked, do you want a loan multiple times? The system will know, do you really need a loan or not? You will be only asked once. And if your answer is yes or no, it will be decide. It will be contextual and it will be personalized. It will only give you product based on your need, and it will exactly know if you are flying towards a particular place and you wanted a travel insurance, it will be contextual and it will give you only product, and the customer will be delighted with the product, and at the end, and it will be contextual basis. Third, as I mentioned, it will be consistent. When you look at and interact with the bank through different channels, whether it's a physical, it's a digital, your experience will be consistent, and the system and the people and the process will know where did you touch last time and how do you continue that product journey or a service journey, and you will have much more delightful experience. Second is the area is about the operational area. Complete operations, which currently you think cannot be automated, you would be seeing that a lot of extreme automation is going to happen. So in regard of your signature matching, your day-to-day automated work, your credit scoring, now they have different layers of approvals. And this operational efficiency is going to enhance in multifold, not in the business support divisions. It's also not in the business divisions itself. It's also into the technology areas, in information security, the technology itself. How do you deploy? There will be automatically DevOps will be much more matured. Things would get automated further within the technology itself. On the third front is the risk management capability of the bank. Today, a lot of risk management is managed with a lot of intelligence from the human, but AI would be really able to really predict what transactions went wrong, what transactions is right, and it could be able to proactively prevent the frauds. It will be proactively able to understand the credit worthiness of the customer. Third front, it would be able to also proactively, in case of probably the NPAs would be coming down, but still it will be able to proactively able to collect backs, reminding the customers. So when in your collections, it's going to help. So the risk management is another area. So I feel these three segments, this landscape is going to completely change with the power of AI.
Thanks. I think I would fully agree with you AI would help us get better in risk management, enhancing our productivity, getting that consistency and better customer experience. Sri Lakshmi, given that you are probably one of the very few among the panelists who is really working on AI, what's your view?
See, for me, any bank of future, doesn't matter, AI-driven bank or digitally-driven bank, any bank, probably for me, the definition, if you ask me, AI-driven bank would be four primary categories. One is the simplicity with which the customers can interact and get what he wants. And the second one is personalized, whether he is being treated as an individual he is, not like a segment of customers. Don't treat him like he belongs to segment A, segment B, segment C. So simplicity, personalized. Third one is private. With so much of privacy, compliance, and everything going on, we shouldn't just make it as a regulatory aspect, because every regulatory aspect that comes into picture has an inherent science behind it. So why are we talking about personalizing? Why are we talking about data security and all? So that private aspect needs to be taken care of. And the fourth one is ethical. So whatever practices we are putting together in the AI field to make this AI bank of the future should be ethically driven and it should be properly governed. So for me, simplicity, personal, private, and ethical are four primary characteristics for this bank of AI of future, whatever you're calling it as. That's my definition. How would I pursue it to be?
Ahmed, one of the point I was coming to is, while we all talk about how does the AI bank of future look like, whether from personalized experience perspective or from ethical point of view or customer consistency, I feel the cloud is one of the fundamental pillars why we have been able to see significant adoption of AI. Given that where you sit and where you live, how do you see cloud adoption taking up, which is a key pillar for adoption of AI?
True. You know that a lot of banks were trying actually to adopt, let's say, smart chatbot or conversational AI, and they were trying to capitalize on the technologies that we have today. For example, IBM, Watson. The cost of Watson to be on cloud compared to the on-premises is almost double. Plus, you lose the touch of dynamic updates, which is the beauty of the AI that today we are learning from others, and this is, let's say, conveyed across. So without the permission to use cloud, which we are facing today in Saudi Arabia, we are not allowed to use the cloud globally, and any service provider need to work with any public or private organization within Saudi having data. They have to operate within Saudi. And you know that Saudi Arabia has published already the national data privacy or policy. And next month, this March, the 23rd, they will apply also the GDPR. So any operator working in Saudi Arabia has to fulfill this regulation. And within a year, you have to fully comply with it. So we still don't know what will happen after the 23rd of March. In the future, we might have some relaxation. However, I just need to highlight one important point about even having those providers operating in Saudi Arabia. For example, Visa and MasterCard now, they are building their own cloud within Saudi. I get to know also from Samir here that Pure Storage, they are also planning for the same. We heard about Google, others are building their clouds in Saudi. However, we have a big concern about data replication because most of these cloud operators and service providers are using the replication to protect your data by replicating the data to other countries. So this means that your data within Saudi will be replicated, for example, to Europe or to the States. So this is very risky for us. And also the new regulation has mandated that this law is applied within Saudi and even for data accessed outside or being even replicated outside. So those restrictions are still there. We are not allowed to use the cloud as much, but I think the case is similar to some countries, but maybe our colleagues here can explain the case of their countries as well.
Thanks, Ahmed. I think you clearly called out the cost of not moving to cloud, and it's not only the cost implications, but time to market as well. Shino, coming to you from, first of all, are you able to hear me? Yes. Super, thanks. How are you seeing adoption of cloud across banking industry in Oman?
Yes, given within the constraints of banks to adhere to the regulations, but banks, all the banks, I feel in Oman as well, is understanding the importance of cloud movement, and they are taking the preliminary steps of moving towards cloud in areas. For as an example, in our focus is, first, we have moved most of our test environments towards cloud, wherein there is no much customer information, but at the end, we can harness the power of computing plus the operational efficiency is gained. We also started moving non-core applications, which does not carry a lot of customer informations like ERP or like your HRMS systems. So there are solutions which is non-core, like your website, which does not contain and capture customer informations. Such systems we started piloting and moving towards cloud. So today we are trying to adopt cloud more, looking at the efficiency of operational efficiency in terms of the infrastructure management. We don't need to do internally. It can be completely managed outside, but not like my panelists mentioned, to the 100% of what the cloud can achieve for us. But we are in the journey of that, and I feel like more and more the time passes, regulator also gives us the freedom to have the cloud adoptions to be done. And lastly, some of the areas we also focus is to consume certain services from cloud. For example, facial detection, OCR technology to be used to capture some of the informations in our digital channels. So some of the specific cloud as a service also we started adopting, which is with the due approval from the regulators. So these are the areas I think similar in the peer banks are also trying, and I'm sure as we move forward, I think there is a larger acceptance from the regulator to have the importance to have cloud and its power.
Thanks, I think that's really interesting to know. Silakshmi, when it comes to AI and machine learning, I mean, these are not buzzwords anymore. And we all have seen significant adoption of machine learning solutions over the last 10 years. How are you seeing the embedding of those machine learning solutions in the bank-wide strategy? And I'll focus on embedding rather than adoption.
Okay. See, anything that we do today, whether it is regards to you creating a simple dashboard which tells about how are you doing in sales, or when you're trying to do an analytics model to increase your sales, inevitably has some insights that comes out of it. So these days, the more and more asked from the seniors and people, leaders who are in that positions to drive strategies, are very cognizant of the value that AI analytics data, for that matter, can bring into driving the strategies. Example, like my colleague on the panel, Ahmed, just spoke about losing the touch of the customers. So I trying to using data and harnessing to understand your strategy of, do you really want to become fully digital, zero branches, or do you want to have an existence of your branches in place just to continue and be in touch with at least a set of the customers who are still not completely tech savvy, but they are still used to coming to the branches and they need that personal guidance towards taking their services. Doesn't matter which segment they belong. So these are the kind of insights that are being today, which are totally driven by your analytics AI, are going into the strategies. And this has become real, but that the senior leaders have acknowledged that there is a lot that data can bring in value. It's not anymore a group of people who are advisories can only draw the strategies, but these advisories can be supplemented with a lot of AI and analytics learnings, which can be embedded together and the strategy can be mapped. So it's not one replacing the other, but it is a beautiful amalgamation of people skills versus the machine learning models insights going together to make a more sophisticated strategy, which is thus very easy to implement.
Thanks. And just a follow-on question on that one. Which are the probably top 2, 3 or bottom 2, 3, if I can, for the lack of words, I can say, areas within the bank you are seeing, which are seeing significant adoptions and embedding of AI, and the least one as well, and why?
Okay, I will not name retail in this at all because it's given. It's with them. I'll talk about departments who are actually realizing and coming forward. Okay, fraud analytics. a simple use case of trying to understand abnormal behaviors of usages of mobile apps or internet banking or accesses in terms to identify and outliers. Is this the customer or is it in any identity theft involved? So I love the way the fraud teams and internal fraud risk investigation teams are adopting AI and analytics to aid their investigations, to give them more understanding towards investigations of frauds. That's one area. The second one is compliance. I think you said this example of trying to understand transactions, which might be fraudulent or which might be risky, which might not be compliant to regulatory. With the current people, there might be limitation in terms of how much you can review manually. But this is now being supplemented by AI machine learning by putting all the knowledge of these people together, making a model to come up and scan the entire transactions and give them a report at the end of the day, which then makes their life easy. Like, you're giving them a cup of tea, they need to just add how much sugar they want. So then they go back and read that review report and then understand. So the compliance is the second one on my list. And HR, this is one area which also started using a lot of analytics and AI. I'll tell you how. Within our organization, our HR came up with a very beautiful idea of, Shri, why don't we use bot for our employees? Why do employees have to write an email to me and wait for me to reply? Why can't I have an intelligent bot that can at least answer a set of questions which I can train the model on? And we did this. And today the bot seamlessly handles as many as 70% of the basic queries for the employees. So these three departments, fraud, compliance, and HR, are using a lot of analytics and AI today in their day jobs and daily value that they bring to the business.
Thanks, Lakshmi. And Ahmed, would you have anything else to add apart from fraud, compliance, and HR, what Lakshmi spoke about?
I think applying artificial intelligence and machine learning solutions in any bank should be part of the strategy. It's not optional anymore. Banks who are not yet looking after or for adopting AI and machine learning will be for sure left behind, especially with the new trend of Metaverse, as we mentioned. Being conversational rather than static, or just having the services like Chatbot or call centers or these kind of things will disappear by time. I believe that the bank or any bank within 3 to 5 years should be fully AI with the data ready and prepared. Who are yet doing their data preparation is going to also left behind. You need to speed up these kind of things. Otherwise, I believe that within 2-3 years, these banks will disappear.
Thanks so much.